In celebration of Women's History Month, we're highlighting some women in medicine.
GYN Dr. Wendy McDonald is here to share some interesting facts. Hello and good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
So Margaret Sanger, it's a name we should all know, right? Give us a scoop.
Margaret Sanger was a labor and delivery nurse in Brooklyn, New York back in the early 1900s. She started the first birth control clinic. She actually started something called the American Birth Control League, back in 1921, that actually later went on to become Planned Parenthood.
Oh, wow.
She saw that there was a lot of poverty and a lot of just basically like use of, or just a lot of fertility, like some significant fertility in the setting of poverty. And she's like, we should be able to control this. And I thought that was amazing, something we should all know about.
Yeah, and birth control methods back in the 20s were quite different than they are today, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, birth control pills were like this big.
Yeah, I was gonna say Planned Parenthood gets a bad rap. Of course, it's controversial. At the same time, though, they're providing health care for men as well.
Exactly.
Also providing STD testing. It's not just people think Planned Parenthood, they think abortion. It does way more than that.
Mostly contraception.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving with yet another person we need to know in women's history and women's health history is Rebecca Lee Crumpler.
So she was the first African-American medical doctor in the United States back in 1864. 1864, can you imagine being an African-American woman graduating from medical school?
Yeah.
It was the New England Female Medical College, which actually is no longer in existence. She also went on to take care of a lot of underserved, poverty-stricken women and children in Boston. Yeah, so she practiced medicine for years, but she underwent a lot of just scrutiny and, of course, racism, sexism, just for being a African-American woman who was a physician. But she was the first one in 1864.
Wow.
I've never heard her name. That's a big deal.
That's a big
1865 is when the Civil War ended and slavery supposedly ended.
It's not a small thing.
Do they teach you like history, medical history and stuff? And okay, no time for that in med school?
There probably should be, but we didn't. I learned about it on my own, and actually she was with us until 1995. I would think we would have had like a big thing about this woman who was the first African-American physician, medical doctor.
Well, talk to us about the word hysteria.
So hysteria comes from the Greek word that actually is the same root word for hysteria and hysterectomy. It all comes from the word uterus.
Okay.
So isn't that crazy? Literally crazy? Yeah. So hysteria, which means like crazy kind of, there's always puns intended, frenzy and just like people being like out of their mind. They thought that it had to do with their uterus. So the cure was periods, marriage, sex. They thought that sperm was a cure for women's like
of course they did.
Who thought that one up?
Started that rumor.
Always that there was and actually to be a little gruesome, but the hysterectomy, removal of the uterus, was thought to be a cure for some women's like mental illness.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
Hysteria.
Well, look how far medicine has come, and then women being involved. Like I know that there are a lot of amazing male doctors out there, but to have a woman that's actually experiencing what you're experiencing is important.
And to that point, in 2017, that was the first year that there were actually more women in medical school than men ever. I know.
I didn't know that. That's really surprising.
And that was just like yesterday. That wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
How far are you still looking at it? Because you always can't go any further without looking at where you've come from.
Exactly.
Where would you like to see more advancement in terms of women in health and women's health and the movement in medicine?
Exactly. So, I mean, policy, you would like to see more women in like leadership positions. Women actually in medicine still make 26% less than men.
Really?
Yes. Isn't that crazy? Even in medicine, you think like, how can there be like gender discrimination with regards to like finances and salaries? But there still is. So I would like to see that become a little bit more equal. We should all be feminists. Are you a feminist, Jordan?
Of course I am. I'm down for the cause.
You should be.
Yeah.
Without
We should all be feminists.
That's right.
Well, you can follow Dr. Wendy at dreverywoman.com.